Have you ever been called stupid? How did it make you feel? Imagine this. An ordinary day in the office, fingers flying across the keyboard, lost in a world of spreadsheets and reports. Then, out of nowhere, your manager, a scowling figure, storms up to you and asks, "Are you stupid?" That's exactly what happened to Marcia, a diligent employee who prided herself on her work. The question hung in the air, a sharp sting that froze her in place. But instead of reacting in anger or embarrassment, Marcia surprised even herself. A calmness settled over her as she looked up at her manager and simply said, "No, Jane, I'm not." Her manager, taken aback, stormed off, leaving Marcia alone with the echo of the question. It was a sting, yes, but it was also more than that. It was a spark. A spark that, instead of fizzling out, started to glow brighter within her. Later that night, in the dimly lit corner of a coffee shop, Marcia found herself pouring out words onto a page. The sting of the day's events had ignited a well of emotions within her, and she found a strange comfort in letting them flow out, one word at a time. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Marcia found herself scribbling away in her notebook, not just in coffee shops, but wherever she found a quiet moment. These weren't just words on a page. They were her feelings, her thoughts, her emotions. They were her, raw and unfiltered. And as she wrote, she began to realize something. The question that had once stung her had awakened something within her. It had ignited a spark that refused to be extinguished, a spark that glowed brighter with every word she penned. And hence the spark was ignited. But this was just the beginning. Marcia's journey was far from over. The spark that had been kindled within her was about to set her path ablaze, leading her to places she'd never imagined. The spark that had burned bright was about to become a roaring flame. How often do we turn to words when things get tough? Words, they're our silent companions, our solace in solitude, our medium to express, to communicate, to connect. And for Marcia, they became a sanctuary, a safe haven where she could channel her emotions. When Jane's harsh words stung, Marcia didn't retaliate. Instead, she turned to the power of words, to the cathartic process of writing. She found comfort in the cozy corners of a coffee shop, her thoughts flowing onto the pages of her notebook. Every word she penned was a reflection of her emotions, an outlet for her feelings. It was her unique way of dealing with the pain and transforming it into something beautiful. Her journey with words didn't stop there. She joined a poetry workshop, stepping out of her comfort zone to share her verses with others. Nervous yet determined, she read her words aloud, each syllable echoing her inner strength and resilience. The act of sharing her words, of putting herself out there, was a testament to her courage. And then came the poetry competition. The stage lights cast long shadows, but Marcia stood firm, delivering her poem with raw emotion. The words she had once written in solitude were now resonating with a room full of people. The applause, the tears in her eyes, the connection she felt with the audience, it all affirmed the power of her words. Words, they're not just a collection of letters. They're a powerful tool, a conduit for our emotions, our thoughts, our stories. And Marcia, she discovered this power. She discovered that words could heal, could inspire, could connect. She discovered that the power of words was not just in reading them, but in writing them too. The power of words, it seems, is not just in reading them, but in writing them too. The power of words, it's in their ability to express, to heal, to transform. It's in their ability to ignite a spark, to fuel a passion, to inspire a journey. The power of words, it's in their ability to change a life, just like they changed Marcia's. What does it mean to find your voice? It's not just about speaking up or making noise. It's about discovering a part of yourself that you perhaps didn't even realize was there. For Marcia, it was a journey filled with words, emotions, and the power of self-expression. The once shy and quiet employee transformed into a confident poet, her voice echoing through her verses. Marcia's journey was not an overnight transformation. It was a journey of self-discovery and growth that began with a spark. A spark that came from a harsh word, from a moment of doubt. But instead of letting it extinguish her spirit, Marcia used it to fuel her passion. Marcia's home became a sanctuary for her words. A bookshelf filled with poetry collections from around the world became her inspiration, her companions in this journey. Each book, each verse, a testament to the power of words and the emotions they can evoke. Her days were spent poring over her work, writing and rewriting. Every word, every line was a piece of her soul, her experiences, her emotions. She found solace in the rhythm and flow of the words, in the beauty of their meaning. Her voice, once timid and unsure, now resonated through her work, her words a mirror to her soul. She found her voice in the quiet corners of the coffee shop, in the late-night scribblings in her notebook, in the hushed whispers of her own thoughts. She found her voice in the applause that followed her poetry readings, in the tears that welled up in the eyes of her listeners, in the smiles that her words brought to their faces. Her voice was no longer just a sound. It was her identity, her strength, her weapon against the world. It was her poetry, her words, her emotions. Marcia's voice was her story, her journey, her legacy. Marcia had found her voice, and it was louder and clearer than ever. It was a voice that echoed through the halls of poetry competitions, that resonated with the hearts of her listeners, that inspired others to find their own voice. It was a voice that was uniquely hers, a voice that was truly heard. Opening. How can your passion inspire others? Marcia's journey with poetry didn't stop at finding her own voice. It was a gift she was eager to share, a spark she wished to ignite in others. You see, the beauty of passion is that it's contagious. When you love something deeply, it radiates from you, reaching out to touch those around you. Marcia started conducting workshops, creating a space where others could explore their own voices through the magic of words. Just as she had poured her emotions onto the page, Marcia encouraged others to do the same, to let their feelings flow, transforming them into verses that were uniquely their own. She shared her experiences, her struggles, and her triumphs, using them as stepping stones to help others navigate their own paths. She spoke about the power of words, how they could heal, inspire, and empower. She talked about the freedom of free verse and the structure of acrostics, introducing them to the vast and varied landscape of poetry. In these workshops, Marcia wasn't just a teacher, but also a student. She learned from the stories and experiences of others, their unique perspectives enriching her own understanding of the world. And as she saw others find their voices, as she saw them transform their pain, joy, fear, and love into poetry, Marcia felt a sense of fulfillment that was unparalleled. There was something profoundly beautiful in seeing another person discover their potential, their power, their voice. It was a cycle of inspiration, one that started with a spark and grew into a flame, lighting up the lives of others. Marcia's love for poetry had not only transformed her life but was now touching the lives of others, inspiring them to explore their own potential, to find their own voices. And in this process, Marcia realized something profound. The gift of poetry, it seemed, was not just in receiving it, but in giving it too. Ending. The gift of poetry, it seemed, was not just in receiving it, but in giving it too. How can a single question change your life? Here we are, witnessing the result of Marcia's transformation. Look at her, holding her book, The Spark That Burned Bright, a guide to finding your voice through poetry. It's a tangible testament to her journey. A journey that began with a harsh question and led her to discover and embrace her true calling. The pages of the book are filled with Marcia's soul, the emotions she once held within now beautifully crafted into verses that resonate with others. Each word, each line, each stanza is a piece of Marcia's heart, shared with the world, touching the lives of those who read it. She begins to read aloud one of her favorite poems by Marianne Williamson, a poem that speaks volumes about her transformation. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. These words, they echo the journey Marcia has embarked on, the journey we all embark on when we dare to confront our fears and realize our potential. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Marcia's voice rings out, a testament to the strength she found within herself, a strength she discovered not in spite of the question that stung, but because of it. She continues, you are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking, so that other people won't feel insecure around you. This is Marcia's message to us all, a call to embrace our light, our power, and to let it shine. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marcia's journey is not just her own. It's a journey that inspires others to embark on their own paths of self-discovery and transformation. The question that once stung now fuels her passion, a testament to the power of finding one's voice and the transformative magic of poetry.